of 1 to 4 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Hello there, you're very welcome along. So busy this evening. We've another Champions League evening ahead. Spurs against Leipzig, the main attraction. We will, on the football show, talk to Mark Lawrenson about Liverpool's performance in Madrid last night. On Wednesday night rugby, we were going to reunite two Harlequins teammates. We have Andy Dunn and Will Greenwood looking ahead to England against Ireland. Also, in the middle hour, Niall Kennedy, he is Ireland's top-ranked heavyweight. He is in studio talking about a cause very close to his heart. 53106 is the text number. We're at Off the Ball. Richie McCormick in studio as ever. Hello.
Hey, Joe.
And Damien Delaney back with us for another Champions League evening. Hello.
How are we doing?
I was said in a really sleazy way, Joe.
Hello.
James, back to you. Hello.
How you doing?
How are you?
Do you come here often?
You're looking well.
The Liverpool players seemed a bit upset with how Atletico went about their business last night. I think the RTE and Virgin Media panels all thought it was not great to watch as well. Whereas, meanwhile, Damien Delaney was in here in studio, full of professional admiration for Atletico.
I'm massively taken aback that people are complaining about Atletico Madrid. They're more than entitled to do what they want. They're within the rules of the game. If you don't like it, I can't help you, but you need to figure out a way of beating them and getting around it, and Liverpool didn't do that. I think there's a lot of people who complain with the way Liverpool play. If you're a purist and you want to watch the likes of Barcelona in their prime, Liverpool are hardly that. They have an effective way of playing as well, where they get the ball very, very quickly and set a tempo. I mean, if you want to watch football, then Liverpool aren't fantastic at it, but it's up to Liverpool to find a way around it. And if you don't like it, you can't complain about it.
Yeah, even I saw Andy Robertson talking about the gamesmanship and players going down too easily, and I thought this is maybe either a combination of almost sour grapes, and they're not that used to losing, and they're just a bit fed up with the whole thing, and maybe a touch as well of they've forgotten how difficult it usually is. It's supposed to be. That's kind of football. I mean, I think 18 months ago, when they were striving to reach the heights they have subsequently reached, I don't think they would have had as many complaints about that game.
No way, not at all. And it might be a little bit gluttonous, but to hear people complaining about it, you have to accept there's beauty in it, and there is certainly I have a lot of admiration for Atletico and what they do. It's not eye-catchingly brilliant, and it doesn't get you off, your chair or whatever, but you have to respect them, you have to appreciate what they are, and it's up to you to find a way to beat them. I take it back to people in the GA when they were complaining about this blanket defence and stuff like that. We got to figure out a way of beating it. Someone's come up with a system that allows them to compete with you, and they might not necessarily have the same kind of budget or services available to them, so they're doing it their way. And it's up to you now to evolve and figure out a way to beat it. And if you don't, then you get beat, and you complain about it.
Atletico still posed a threat going forward as well, though.
Unbelievably so. They weren't just a camp and sit in and pray. They probably had the better chances in the whole game. When you look back over it, they caused Liverpool. I don't think any team this year, really, I can remember from memory, have caused Liverpool that many problems on the breakaway. Because normally Liverpool are very, very, very good at pinning teams in and winning it back high up the pitch. But Atletico have a fantastic way of getting at you. They're fabulously disciplined. You just have to admire that.
And do you admire the way they managed to wind Mane up, or do you think that crosses a line?
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's part and parcel of the game. It's within the rules, and if Mane gets upset about it, then so be it. I couldn't care less about Mane and getting wound up and stuff.
Second leg, Anfield?
I think Jurgen Klopp's going to have to earn his corner now. I think he really is. I think we brought on Oxlade-Chamberlain with 20 minutes to go, because he is that type of player that can take the ball in traffic in the middle of the pitch, and he can travel with it in the middle of the pitch. And I think that's why he brought him on, because at the minute the three they play with are a fantastic work rate and everything, and we spoke about it on Monday night, or Graham did, about they're not the most creative. So when you let them have the ball, they won't pick. They can pick a pass, but not to a David Silva, Bernardo Silva, these types of players, where they can really thread one or move you around. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain would be like a little kind of grenade in the middle of that. He's a bundle of energy, and perhaps you might have to think about something like that in the second leg. But this is what the manager gets paid to do, and his coaching staff is to watch it, let it go, find their weaknesses. How do you get at them?
Yeah, it's also that bit more precarious as well. They don't have an away goal if Atleti manage to score.
Yeah, it's curtains.
Do you think so?
Oh, Dave, if Atletico score,
you're not scoring 3 against them.
If Atletico go 1-0 up at Anfield, I think that's it. There's no way you're getting 3 goals at Anfield against those guys, not in a million years.
That's high-stakes stuff. That's a high-wire act.
Yeah, it is. And fair play to Atletico for forcing the situation. You have to admire it. I do anyway.
So do I.
Yeah,
I was saying to you last night, I don't think I'd like to be an Atletico season ticket holder. It wouldn't be my bag against Levante, but against Liverpool on a Champions League knockout evening, Simeone going ballistic on the touchline.
Yeah.
I thought it was a brilliant game last night.
I think there's a sense that Atletico sized that one up from further out than Liverpool did. I think Simeone, in a way, has probably been preparing for that one since the draw was made in, what was it, December?
Yeah, I'd
Whereas
agree.
Klopp, I was watching Klopp's pre-match press conference on what night would it have been, Monday, and he was asked how many games he's watched of Atletico, or how much of Atletico he's watched over the past while, and he said 4 matches, I think, over the last 2-3 days. So I think it's something that Liverpool came to quite late compared to what Atletico may have done. We don't know, obviously, but just from watching it, I got the sense
Liverpool
that
would have had a team of analysts since the draw was made, all drawing up individual reports separate from the other one to see, is there any common themes come through of what Atletico's strengths and weaknesses are, and then Klopp would have watched the game himself and then read every one of those reports. I mean, that's kind of how it works, and then it's up to him to have the final say in how they're going to go about it.
Well, that's interesting. I was wondering how they would avoid groupthink. So the analysts go and watch Atletico separately as opposed to together and swapping ideas. Write your report. Don't copy anyone else's homework. Let's see if there's a common theme. Yeah,
and just see everyone picking up on the same thing, and then the manager might watch it and he might pick up the same thing, or maybe someone would spot something or a weakness or a strength in Atletico that the other one hasn't,
For people, sorry to make you repeat yourself, but I'm conscious a lot of people might have been watching the game last night and they're just maybe tuning in now on the way back home from work or whatever. So you spotted early on, it was just a kind of an interesting way to watch the game almost. That Atletico, you think of their 2 centre-halves, the 2 central midfielders and the front 2, they are forming a rectangle. Those 6 players bunched in the middle. Obviously the wingers are working hard up and down to help out the full-backs around that. But that's the game for you. And what Liverpool have to do is almost concertina those in and out.
Right, you need to break that up. You need to get something in there.
Drag them out, drag them in, and then little pockets will arise. That is the core of the game.
Yeah, see, I mean, ultimately 4-4-2 died out in its kind of died a death many years ago because...
I can tell you when it died.
Go on then.
You've got the gravestone at home.
Keith Andrews and Glenn Whelan against Spain at Euro 2012.
Okay, possibly, but
that's when it died, a proper death.
You had to have a dig in him, he's not here. And he's
Sorry, they had no chance.
Keith spoke very highly of you the other day when we were...
I love Keith. That's my point. Keith and Glenn thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, but look, anyway, the reason that fails is because you have 2 players in the middle
Keith
of
was
the park.
our best player at Euro 2012.
Yeah, and they have the opposition has 3 in there, and they'll dominate the ball. 3v2 will always win. So, but Atletico get away with it because the 2 centre forwards drop in and protect the 2 central midfield players. So while you think they only have 2 in there, they don't. They have 6 because the 2 centre forwards almost become like 2 central midfield players as well. They drop so deep, and they then don't have a lot of space in front of them, and they don't have a lot of space behind them because the 2 centre backs are only just behind them. And you need to move the centre backs. And there was a couple of times last night where Henderson, I think, played a straight ball and Salah made an internal run and dragged one of the centre-backs behind the other one, so he's made a diagonal run behind the other centre-back and the ball's been straight up. And all of a sudden you've got the centre-backs on a straight line, your rectangles that we're talking about there is in trouble. And if he can recycle that back in the middle, by the time he recovers to his shape, the left side centre-back, if it is, you've created a hole there. But unfortunately that is a lot easier said than done because they're so deep, there's only 18 yards behind them, so that ball is massively difficult to play when you clip it over the top of them. I think another really good way of getting at that is with the fullbacks. If you can get the fullbacks in behind and have crosses coming back the way to the penalty spot or stood up to the back post, you have a great chance. Henderson had a great little chance with something similar. Salah had a header as well at the back post. But obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold probably had his poorest game for Liverpool in memory. So
bad night for him to choose.
Right, but then it's very difficult to get behind with Robertson as well because they're so deep. But these are just little ways that the Liverpool coaching staff will now be watching. Okay, how do you break this down? What's the best way about it? What flaws do they have?
Texts are in.
Go on.
What does Damien think of Gary Lineker's comment? It's like Crystal Palace, but with good players, says Aidan in Tip. I didn't realise he said that of Atletico.
I think that was a compliment, to be honest with you.
There you go. Damn right.
I absolutely do. I couldn't care what Gary Lineker, was it? Gary Lineker?
Yeah.
I couldn't care what Gary Lineker thinks.
Why would we?
Exactly.
I'm not buying Damien. If Atletico score its curtains...
Oh, come on, man. Someone please find a stat. When was the last time that they conceded 3 goals in any game under Simeone?
Lorraine says, this is the team that took a 3-0 down from Barcelona to Anfield. Liverpool all over them. Barcelona defensively are not
completely different
Atletico is the
kettle of
worry.
fish, to be honest with you. Yeah, but I take that point. Look, it's 95% certain that it will be over. You know, there's always, of course, a random or an anomaly where Liverpool might get a penalty and, you know, something might change in the game, but ultimately I think, you know, the odds would be massively stacked against them.
Jimmy disagrees about Atletico's tactics. Particularly, he says, diving and time wasting, perfectly allowable parts of the game, question mark. I don't think so. It's crappy behaviour, but it's only half time in the fixture. Okay, not technically allowable, but like... This is, this is the big time. Like, you're going to Atletico Madrid. Exactly. Like, they're not going to be nice and welcome you. Is everything okay? Do you have no space?
Liverpool's front three, in particular, are adverse to feeling gravity more than most.
Like, that's why it was so surprising that diving, time wasting, all the dark arts, which are so commonplace.
Yeah, of course.
That Liverpool would make a point of talking about.
When it's happening to you,
I'm sure it's infuriating, but like. That's the way. We're back at this now. This isn't Norwich away where you're going to dominate and ultimately
If
win.
I was Atletico, I'd be delighted with the noises coming over. I'd be like going, oh my goodness, let's just redo all that again and wind them up even more, because we'll quieten that Anfield crowd.
Yeah.
You know, that Anfield crowd then will start getting at us as opposed to supporting their team. So these are all the things that Simeone would be, honestly, he'd be delighted in his office the following morning with all the noises coming out of England.
Maybe even a bit surprised. Like that they got to Liverpool that easily. Like, I would have thought today someone needs to sit down with Mane and say, here, listen, this is what it's about. You just can't let that stuff bother you.
Yeah. It happens, it goes on definitely in Europe more, and it happens a lot in the Premier League as well. I mean, how many times do you see teams run down the clock in the Premier League? All the time. If you're winning 1-0 with a couple of minutes to go.
But even if I don't know what they were doing to annoy Mane so much. Say they were doing Damien Delaney-esque tactics, pinching him.
It's the fact that he picked up that yellow so early, and it looked like the referee was happy enough to give a second one pretty quickly. I mean, any manager is going to be, within the rights of second.
Am I being unfair on Mane? Did he lose his head? But I was just surprised they took him off.
He would get very frustrated, because when you're playing a certain way all season and everything's going for you and the spaces are there and it looks great, and then all of a sudden teams just swamp you and make your life very difficult. You get very frustrated because you feel like, I'm not having a good game, why can't I get into the game, or why can't I? And you start getting a little bit annoyed and frustrated because you're trying everything, and then the fullback either always has an answer or he always has help, with him. So that would kind of be the start of it, and then obviously a couple of little heavy tackles or a little bit left on him would just kind of upset him a little bit more.
But you have to prepare yourself beforehand mentally that this is going to be tough.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. We'll talk more. Mark Lawrenson's going to join us in the football show.
Good.
So you two can chew the fat about that game, see what you think about Anfield. I mean, Anfield now is going to be amazing. Unmissable stuff. Richie.
Oh, yeah.
Ireland team news is in.
Yeah, as expected, Peter O'Mahony keeping his place in the Ireland back row for Sunday's Six Nations meeting with England. Andy Farrell deciding to stick with the same 15 that helped beat Wales a fortnight ago. The only change to the matchday squad is among the replacements, with the returning Caelan Doris in for Max Deegan. Former Ireland captain Paul O'Connell has been around the camp this week, and Farrell's been explaining his invite.
He's been in all week. He's here till Friday. We like it when people come into camp. We try and invite as many people as we possibly can. There's not just Paul that's been in camp this week. There's a few other guys, and we like people to try and take stock from the outside and get a feel of their feeling of how camp is. So Paul is here to observe and come into all the meetings and get a feeling, and obviously share his experience as well along the way and trying to connect with the boys.
It's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Paul O'Connell around for the week, watching how they do things, offering advice. Bono was in last night as well at Carton House. Did you see that?
Saw that, yeah. Serving food up to Johnny Sexton as well.
Apparently he spoke then for an hour and a half. They all said it was amazing, I suspect.
Bono for an hour and a half.
It would be. I'm a big fan of Bono. Smart man, intelligent man. Gets a rough deal in this country. From types like you.
Yeah.
actually.
People who pay their taxes in this country.
Oh.
That's what I mean.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wait, right in there. Right in
It don't seem
there.
like you were waiting to say that.
So I felt like he was.
He
setting
could have
you up
said
for it.
anything and you were going to just nail him with that.
I actually have no idea what his situation is. We probably shouldn't comment on it.
And nor do I. I'm just saying I pay my taxes in this country. That's just everybody does.
Yeah, okay. I genuinely, we need to be careful enough there because I'm not sure what anyone's situation is.
Also, an hour and a half of Bono talking about Irishness.
Bono, I would have thought, was very impressive. He's a smart fella.
Listen, if Bono come in here now to talk, I think everyone would be happy about it, like, you know. Give us a little kind of pep talk before we go on the radio.
I found my cat's flip-flops more egregious, to be honest with you.
Really?
They had the big group shot of all like 50 odd people around the room, like the squad. There's a couple extra people in the squad who haven't been around and like officially in it. Dave Carney for one. But my cat had these like Nike Air Moses going on the left hand side of the picture, and as soon as I saw them, zoomed in. Can't be having that.
Did anyone impressive come into you over your career? Come in and talk outside it, influence different fields? Is it a done thing in football as much?
It is. I remember a few years ago, Eddie Jones came in to see us.
Really?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Came in and watched training one day and gave us a bit of an old chat.
I find him, again, he gets a rough deal, like Bono. I find Eddie Jones really thoughtful, interesting. Like, you go away from all the rah-rah-rah stuff, you know. Was he impressive?
He was, yeah. I mean, he's a stern man. He just kind of watched training, and then afterwards, I think it was just after Ireland beat them. I think I'm going to say 2016, maybe. Was that a Grand Slam year, or did we do something well there? I think we just beat England around that time, though, not long after it. And I kind of, as we were walking off, Eddie, how are you? He said, yeah, Grant. He says, oh, still raw, is it? And he just went, that'll always be raw. And then kind of, I went, oh, okay, no, see you later. That was kind of it, really. You know, there was no bit of humour or whatever coming back and forth from him. But look, he seemed fine, and I did enjoy speaking to him. But I think he's a tough man to work for, and I'd say he's
intense.
Very intense, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't smile, or there was no banter, humour, there was no, you know, considering it wasn't his environment and we weren't his players, he still felt the need to impose that I'm the manager and I'm about business kind of mentality, as opposed to, you know, I'm in a different sport and, you know, maybe I'll have a chat with some of the lads and see how they find things, you know. But he was fine. I nothing bad to say about him.
Matt Williams, who does the rugby on Virgin Media, knows him and known him for a long time, and would say he's just an absolute workaholic, that he worked himself into ill health, you know, early enough in his career. Like, you're talking 3-4 hours sleep a night job, basically as close to 24/7 as you could humanly be. That is Jones's approach, you know.
I listen, I don't know enough about him.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Never Bono?
No, never.
Okay, that's your loss.
I mean, I wouldn't be as tough as about Richie. Like,
yeah,
you know,
really. I'm still reeling from that, actually.
Someone offered me a chat with Bono, I'd be more than happy to.
Can I just reiterate?
Not happy with that.
I still find more egregious my cat's flip-flops. They're not right. They just, like, they don't look like. Do you know the way you kind of see the like ones that people wear to the gym in and out of the shower and that? They kind of have the full strap going around the foot. Cats ones are like the old school, going between the big toe, bit of a little strappy thing going on over the top.
Not comfortable.
No, it's not. It can't be. I can't see the point in flip-flops ever.
So, well, Eddie Jones is next.
Yeah, man. He says Manu Tuilagi and Henry Slade could be fit for Sunday's game. They're attempting to recover from respective groin and ankle injuries. Meanwhile, Jones was asked today what he made of Welsh claims that Tadhg Furlong in particular had a suspect scrum technique.
Well, scrum's a place for dark arts, isn't it? You know, what one person sees is right, another person sees is wrong. So the Welsh are entitled to their opinion. We'll formulate ours and let the referee decide on the verdict.
That's Eddie Jones. Troy Parrott, meanwhile, was added to the Tottenham squad for tonight's Champions League last 16 first leg with RB Leipzig, but he's not involved. Spurs line out with Hugo Lloris in goal, a back four of Serge Aurier, Toby Alderweireld, Davinson Sanchez and Ben Davies. Harry Winks anchors the midfield. In front of him, the quartet of Jedson Fernandez, Giovanni Lo Celso, Dele Alli and Stephen Bergwijn, with Lucas Moura leading the line for Spurs tonight. Former Liverpool goalkeeper Peter Galaxy starts between the posts for Leipzig. A back three then of Lucas Klosterman, former Chelsea man Ethan Ampadu and Marcel Halstenberg. Nordi Mukiele, Marcel Sabitzer and Conrad Leimer and Angelino are across the middle. Christopher Nkuku is behind Patrick Schick and Timo Werner. Meanwhile, the San Siro is the venue for Atalanta's last 16 first leg with Valencia, and both tonight's games kick off at 8.
We have Premier League tonight as well.
We do, yeah. Manchester City Chief Executive Ferran Soriano insists allegations they breach financial fair play rules are simply not true. The Premier League champions have been banned from all European competition for the next 2 seasons by UEFA. City will appeal against the decision. Soriano says he wants a swift resolution before the summer. The CEO also denies UEFA's claim that the club were uncooperative in their investigation.
Well, we did cooperate with this process. We delivered a long list of documents and support that we believe is irrefutable evidence that the claims are not true. And it was hard because we did this in the context of information being leaked to the media, in the context of feeling that at every step of the way, every engagement we had, we felt that we were considered guilty before anything was even discussed. But at the end, you know, this is an internal process that has been initiated and then prosecuted and then judged by this FFP chamber at UEFA.
They didn't do it.
What? We're back. What?
No.
What did you say?
Nothing, no.
Jeez, there's a high wire act here. Let's pull it together. Let's come back from the cliff, everyone. So, Manchester City, they've named their team?
Yeah, they have. Ederson starts and goal for them. Kyle Walker, Nicolas Otamendi. Aymeric Laporte's back in. Benjamin Mendy across the back four. Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva are in midfield. Captain Bernardo Silva is up front alongside Gabriel Jesus and Sergio Aguero. Darren Randolph on the West Ham bench again tonight. Lucas Fabianski in goal for them. A back five of Ryan Fredericks, Issa Diop, Angelo Ogbonna, Aaron Cresswell and Arthur Masuaku. Declan Rice, Mark Noble and Thomas Souček are in midfield with Robert Snodgrass in support of Mikel Antonio, and kick-off in that one is at 7:30.
Keane said it took him way too long to realise that Richie was talking about Mike Cat and not your cat. There you go. That's the calibre of texter we're in.
I don't have cats. Don't like cats.
It did sound like my cat. Can Simeone's rah-rah-rah approach to management wear a bit thin? There must be surely only so many times you can hear a blood and thunder team talk before you become immune, says Vin.
No, not really, because I think he signs players that suit him. They're of his mentality. You know, it's not like if he walked in and took the Man City job tomorrow. I think what he says there is quite true. Players would wear thin and get bored of him. But if you're signing, you know, a certain type of player with a certain mentality and used to doing a certain job, then they just can't get enough of him.
Did you have the rah-rah-rah manager for a long period ever?
Yeah, I've had a few managers that are kind of, you know, in your face a little bit and kind of, but it's difficult when you're on a bad run and then you're continuously listening to this, let's go, and you don't get a win. So let's say you lost 5 in a row and he's still coming in and giving it, you're kind of going, oh Jesus, come on man, I mean, you know, that can wear thin then, you know, but obviously that doesn't happen to Simeone because he's perpetually winning games of football, you know.
I'd be quite interested to see how often he's really banging the table and in their face as well. I wouldn't suspect it's every week.
No, not for Levante at home, I wouldn't have thought, you know.
Levante are getting an awful time here tonight as well.
I only use it because it was his analogy, so I couldn't. Sorry, Levante.
Granada. Yeah, I don't get the impression he is doing that on a week-to-week basis. I think it's for the bigger games. I'd say for last night he was doing it.
Yeah, without doubt.
I'd say last night he was on it. So, Rory McIlroy?
Yeah, he has poured still more cold water on the proposed Premier Golf League. An 18 event global tour have been proposed, which would feature 48 of the world's top golfers. But the world number one says the more he's thought about it, the more he doesn't like it, and he won't be taking part.
I've never been one for being told what to do, and I like to have that autonomy and freedom over my career, and I feel like I would give that up by going to play this other league. So for me, I'm out. My position is I'm against it until there may come a day that I can't be against it. If everyone else goes, I mightn't have a choice. But at this point, I don't like what they're proposing.
He's a big player. Him saying no is definitely a blow to it.
As soon as I heard that, I thought that's it, dead.
Yeah. And he was asked about Woods as well, and he did make the point. Tiger Woods wants to play 12 times a year. There's absolutely no chance he's signing up to 18 events that he must play a year. So that's a big blow for it. Obviously, if Tiger doesn't, there's no chance. Rory saying no is already a major blow.
Is there any chance they curtail it and have it down to...
I'm just laughing, right? Because I do have a confession to make.
Well, do you want to make it on air or do you want to run it by us first?
Yeah, because
do you want to run it by us first?
I can't stop laughing because The text I went in there about my cat. I thought the same thing.
You thought he was talking about his cat?
Yeah, I did. I was thinking, my cat. I was thinking, flip-flops.
Hold on.
I couldn't figure out what he was talking about.
There, look at them.
I didn't know, man.
Moses not having that.
So when he was talking about my
And
cat
flip-flops, it was one of those things, just don't ask. Because
Okay.
it clearly...
You're just playing along, thinking I had a cat that wears flip-flops.
I was looking
Where
at
would
you.
I get these
I
flip-flops?
have no idea, man. And then you were talking about the old school ones, and I was there going...
Yeah, on a regular foot.
Go between the toe.
Not a paw.
And in my head I was going, why would a cat want to flip-flop between his... It was mad. I was just sitting there going, just leave this alone, man.
It's been a tough
So
start.
fair, when you said about the listener, you goes, oh, that's the quality listener we get. I was there going, well, not really, because that's the
You
quality.
need to speak up.
I was thinking about it, and I was there going, don't. And then Rory was talking, and I was laughing. In my head, I was like, Jesus.
This has been another disaster. You got to speak up. Don't be so proud. I don't understand. You're allowed to.
Because last night you and me had a little bit of a, I wasn't misunderstanding, but like you were
No,
talking.
you misunderstood.
I didn't know what was going on. Then I was watching the game as well, because I was watching the game and you made a point, and I kind of came in halfway through it, and I was like, "What did you want from me here?" And I couldn't figure out what it was. And the same last night, I got a little bit
Rattled.
But I was genuinely looking at him, going, "What is he on about, my cat?"
It's good for us to tease these things out.
It's funny.
What I was getting at last night, without revisiting it, was
Yeah.
a conversation about how your reputation can go before you.
Yeah.
So Lampard and Suarez do something,
Yeah.
Harry Maguire does something, he gets away with it. And I was just saying, like, that's a thing, I presume, and your experience of that. And you just kept saying, oh no, it's not right.
I only came in
It's not
halfway
right.
through when you were saying that, because something happened in the game, and I was looking at that, and I thought, oh no, but the conversation had started.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to start the conversation with Richie,
Again.
going, what is it with you and your cat?
I
thought
think it's really good that we've talked all this
And
out.
I was glad when that guy messaged in and said the same thing, and I was thinking, thank God, I thought I was the only one.
Dear, oh
Anyway,
dear.
sorry about that.
No, it's all right. This is like the conversation that should happen in a production meeting, but we're doing it on air. It's good. Is there anything else bothering you? Come on, let's have it out.
Funny. I was in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Cat, Ireland's attack coach. My cat, Richie's cat. So,
Which would you rather see on the show, Mike
I
Cat
don't.
or my cat?
Anyway, go on.
Go on.
this is a genuine text, by the way.
Okay.
So I don't know what age you went over to the UK or where you so if this just has come in. It's a compliment from Brian Cork. He says, Damien has a great command of the language. Did he like his English in school? Wondering, were you into it?
No, I didn't. I was absolutely, no, I wasn't very good at school at all, unfortunately. So but I took up reading and audiobooks about 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
And I think when you read books, you tend to pick up words
Osmosis.
and exactly, and kind of phrasings and things like that. But I wouldn't tend to agree that I do have a great command of the English language. You know?
Well, Brian in Cork.
Thank you very well.
That's typical, actually. Yeah, Cork and Matthew staying together. All right, listen, it's been a hell of a news round. I think we all deserve a break. After 8 o'clock, we've Andy Dunn and Will Greenwood talking England Ireland. They were teammates together at Harlequins, so we're looking forward to that. In the meantime, we'll be back in just a sec. The Alex Hotel on Monday night. We had Graham Souness, we had Damien Delaney, we had Keith Andrews, we had Brian Kerr. They will preview Spurs at home to Leipzig.
Off the ball on News Talk. Down to business.
Your town, your main street comes to you from Portlaoise this Saturday in the Collection Hotel. Along with my town team of experts, I'll be giving Portlaoise a health check. We'll be talking to big and small Laois businesses. I'll also be joined by burger, forecourt and hotel impresario Pat McDonough. I'll be talking to the governor of Portlaoise Prison, and I'll be out and about making jam. If you'd like to attend the show, simply go to newstalk.com/events to register for a ticket.
Your town, your main street.
On Down to Business.
Proudly brought to you by IE Domain Registry, home of .ie, this Saturday in the Collection Hotel from 10 o'clock.
On News Talk.
Have a great evening with itsforwomen.ie. Great value car insurance on the web, on demand, on the go. Itsforwomen.ie. It's always on hand. It's always online.
Did you lose deposits when buying an off-plan property in Spain or Balearic Islands? Developer went bankrupt, property never completed? All is not lost. You can reclaim lost deposits through off-plan property deposit refunds. No win, no fee. Come see us at the Carlton Hotel Blanchardstown on Friday 21st and Saturday 22nd of February from 10:30 till 7 and Sunday February 23rd from 10:30 to 4 p.m. For events